Welcome to Balls from Outside, where you're never too old for an animated movie.
Yeah.
How are we?
Yeah. I'm kind of tired. I'm not gonna lie.
So, Lightyear comes out in a couple of weeks, so I figured we like talking about movies. Why not talk about Pixar for a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pixar.
So I did research on this. The company was founded in the 1970s, and the founder had one desire: to make the world's first computer-generated movie, and that was in the 70s. Flash forward 20 years, and what do you get?
They managed to do it. Yeah.
That's dedication right there.
That is. If I'm not like I could be mistaken, but didn't Steve Jobs put a lot of money like in an investment into into Pixar? And I know Disney originally wasn't going to take them on, but he was funding and everything.
Yeah, he was one of the main investors. I forget what the main guy was called, but
I know John Lasseter was like a big part of it, even though we don't talk about him anymore because
controversy.
Yeah.
So we'll start with an easy question. What is everyone's favorite Pixar movie? Actually, we'll start with a better question. What was the first Pixar movie you ever saw?
The first one they ever made, Toy Story.
I mean, that's probably going to be the basic.
Toy Story as well.
Yeah, Toy Story.
Yeah.
Bug's Life.
Your first was A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Not a bad start, but I grew up with Bug's Life as well.
Also watched Monsters, Inc.
Good movie.
Oh, Monsters, Inc. I think Monsters, Inc. is actually the first movie I remember seeing in an actual proper theater.
Nice.
Because I had Toy Story on VHS and all the other movies on VHS. I remember going with a group to see Monsters, Inc. and loving it.
Right, so everyone's favorite Pixar movie.
Oh!
Just have to ask. I'd say Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
It's not a choice.
Yeah, I would say for many years now, I thought Monsters, Inc. was my favourite. And then when I started thinking about what movies I watched the most, my favourite would obviously be the one I watched the most, and I thought, it's not Monsters, Inc., it's Toy Story 2. Because, Hamish, you mentioned seeing Monsters, Inc. in theatres. Toy Story 2, I think, was the first movie I went to see by choice, and it was a special time. It was fabulous.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
I'm trying to think of my top 3 like Pixar films on top of my head. Up's I think Up might be my favorite. Like, Up might just be my favorite movie. Like, it's such a good film.
Nice.
But Toy Story, like any of the Toy Stories, are up there for me. Like, I love Toy Story, and the first Toy Story I can quote off basically like the whole script off by heart. It's just really funny.
Would you say Toy Story is the most quotable animated movie ever?
For me, it definitely is. I can remember. Me and a lot of my friends can remember almost every bit of dialogue from that film. It's so funny.
Nice.
I can kind of almost remember all of it because it's been a long time since I last watched it. I should buy the whole Toy Story franchise on DVD.
Yeah, if you've got Disney Plus, you can always watch them on there as well.
I mean, I would watch the original trilogy any day. I have more to say on Toy Story, but I'll get to that at the end because I've got something really weird for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to think Monsters, Inc. was my favorite because I don't know why. Because it seems like the popular choice for favorite Pixar movie is one of the Toy Story movies.
It is, but Monsters, Inc. is also really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the fact that that was the movie they made. I think after Toy Story 2, or was it before or was it after?
It was 2001. So yeah, I think it would be after. I don't think anything came out. I don't think anything came out in 2000.
So, the fact that they managed to keep that momentum going after 2 with another really, really good film, and it's not even a Toy Story movie. It was a different movie. That's just insane to me.
Now, actually, I just realised one of the subjects we wanted to cover in Balls from Outside was movies we thought were perfect, we feel are close to being perfect, and Toy Story 2 could be one of them, considering how much of a shit show it was to get it made.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure most of our viewers, if they know anything about Pixar, they probably know about the whole story. But that woman, the one who who had like the file on the computer and everything, the one who was going into labor and stuff. She's like a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Like that's
because
that's crazy.
Yeah, because I've heard that it was in the late 90s, and it was at the peak of when they were making the low budget sequel movies, and they were actually going to get Disney themselves to do Toy Story 2, but I think Pixar demanded more control.
Well, yeah, because I think for the right reasons, because like you kept doing the direct to DVD sequels, which had like a really low budget.
They were never good. They were rarely good.
They were rarely good, and the budget was too low. Like having a 3D animated thing like that on that low of a budget is scary.
I think they did say they were going to do it 2D.
I don't think that would have worked as well. Like the characters just suit 3D better. I think it's one of those few cases where I think it just works better in 3D.
So yeah, it was. I think it was. They were going to do a 60-minute 2D low-budget sequel, and I think that's when the hard drive got deleted, and then that pregnant woman actually had the backups at home.
Yeah. So the story behind that was that, because I don't know if that was like that the case itself. I know for a fact that like the movie itself, like the movie we have today, not the actual pilot thing or whatever they were making, but the movie we have today, like would have just been completely gone had that hard drive not been there, because it was just the virus just completely took everything out.
And then I think they finished the movie, and then John Lasseter had a look at it and think, we cannot release this.
I don't remember that. I remember the first Toy Story had that, where like they had to redo the whole thing. It was called Black Friday, wasn't it?
Oh God, I can't remember.
I can't remember what it was called, but like, it was something along those lines. Like the original Toy Story was called, it went by a different title, and they showed this original cut of the film, like it was like a storyboard of what they were, like, what was going to happen, and it was way too mean spirited. Like Disney were like, "This is bad. You need to change this now."
Actually, I remember that Woody looked completely different, and yeah, he was a straight up douchebag.
Yeah, like in the storyboard, it shows that, like, because you know how in the original Toy Story, like Woody means to knock Buzz down the side of the counter, but he accidentally knocks him out the window.
Yep.
In the storyboard, it straight up shows Woody shaking Buzz's hand and then him throwing him out of the window, and then everyone's like, "Why did you do that?" And he's just like, "Oh, it's a toy world." And then like and then he has an argument, like, yeah, like he's horrible in that one. But yeah,
that would have been terrible.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking back to Toy Story 2. I'm sure that they did the similar thing where they said they couldn't release it, and they only had 9 months before a locked release date, so they had to redo that entire movie in 9 months, working almost 24/7, and somehow it became one of the greatest animated movies of all time.
I know this is like a really nerdy term, like way to say it, but I call it like the Melee of animated films.
Well, like Smash Melee.
Yeah, Smash Melee, because that game had a very similar like thing where like the development was fucking like it was so rushed, like it was really rushed. Like they had to get that thing out ASAP. And it somehow ended up amazing. Like it somehow ended up.
It probably didn't deserve to do as well as it did, because sequels
definitely not.
Sequels rarely, if ever, do as well as their originals, and especially one that's rushed like that.
Yeah, well, it's funny because and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that everything needs to be rushed, because that's like the opposite of what I want. But it's funny how a lot of rushed products tend to come out look like really well. And I think it's like Majora's Mask, like from Zelda, like that was a thing that was rushed, and you can kind of tell in some places. But a lot of people consider that their favorite Zelda game.
Nice.
I feel almost sorry that that wasn't the case with Sonic 06.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, that was bad management as well. Like that was just all around really bad.
But still became it still became a cult classic.
I mean, even that's debatable, really.
I mean, same thing happened with Boom and like other games. Like I'll say this as well. Like Mario Sunshine, to my knowledge, was also rushed, and that's a very I say very diverse. Like what is it? Not diverse.
Divisive.
Divisive. That's it. Divisive Mario game. Like that's a pretty divisive Mario game down the middle. For a Mario game, anyway, most of them are considered like pretty good.
And also, I love how no matter what topic we're covering, we cannot stop talking about Mario and Sonic.
I mean, okay, look, with Toy Story, Toy Story came out the same year as Mario 64.
Did it?
Those are both revolutionary. Yeah, those are both. Well, actually, no, 1995, 1996, a year apart. But both of those have like both revolutionized their own industries. Like, where they both went into 3D. It's kind of crazy because I associate Mario 64 and Toy Story in the same kind of era. Like I can't. It's that same kind of like nostalgia I have for both of them. You can kind of just put them together.
Nice. Right, so Toy Story's amazing. Any other movies we want to talk about? Rosa, you wanted to talk...
No, that's the only good ones. No, I'm joking.
You wanted to talk about Bug's Life, didn't you?
Yeah, Bug's Life. So I actually rewatched Bug's Life recently, just to see if it's still holding up. And to me, it did. Because, like, now, because, like, at some point there are jokes you just can't get, and you know that it's kind of like when you rewatch it, it's funny. Like Lady Bird.
Is it like jokes you wouldn't get as a kid, but you would get as an adult?
Yeah. So like the first one is where Hopper. I think in this it's like got a meaning towards it because Hopper, even he's a bigger bug compared to the ants, and all the ants were kind of like harvesting food for them, but also trying to harvest for themselves. But Flint, he's like one of those ants that are got really bright. I see what his issue is. He's a very bright ant, and he wants to help his colony. So he invents things, but at the same time, he's kind of like one of those ants. He means well, but it's like go away kind of ant where
he's annoying.
Because he accidentally kind of almost crushed the newest princess with the harvest of one of his creations.
Don't you just hate when you almost crush royalty?
I mean, it's happened to me a few times.
I mean, but Hopper. I think still I like Hopper.
Nice.
Because now you can't.
Oh yeah, Dennis Lady was a ladybug.
That's one of the jokes I was going to actually mention. Is that there's these. You actually meet these circus bugs, and then there's like houseflies there, and they're like flirting with the ladybug, and they're like, "Hey, come kiss me," and things like that.
You know what the funny thing is? I didn't really get that joke until I saw it in Cars when they do that thing at the end where they recreate all the Pixar movies as actual Cars.
And then it turns out is that the ladybug is called Francis. That's not also going to help his case. And he was just like, oh, so I'm a ladybug that automatically makes me a chick.
A girl, right?
God.
Yeah.
And then you got that voice of Dennis Leary. It's just like, oh yeah, definitely I'm trans.
The New York accent.
You got that New York accent, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's definitely a transsexual there.
Oh God.
And it's just like, you can't get it there. It's just like, oh!
Yeah.
But I think
no, actually, I can sympathise with that because there's two ways. Francis is my middle name. There's two ways to spell Francis, and for the first 10 or so years of my life, I didn't know how it was spelled.
There's also like this big beetle. I think he's got autism. Like he's got some kind of learning disability, cause like
Sorry.
Oh boy, here we go.
Sorry. Just the thought of that. I didn't think that was a sentence I'd hear today.
Oh no.
Like
we're terrible people.
I know that we're like laughing at our disabilities, but it's like, I'm sorry to say this, but Black Widow Spider is his kiddo. So it's like, she accidentally whips him on the feet and he starts crying like a child's like, and then it was just like, she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Does that actually happen in the? I haven't watched Bug's Life in years. Does that actually happen?
Yeah, neither.
Because she's a circus and because she's a Black Widow Spider, people are like, but like she whips him with a shoelace and he's like, he's like on his back crying, rocking himself as well. Because he's like rocking himself like a child.
He's traumatized.
Because he's just like, she's like, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why do you apologize after whipping someone?
And then you just see them both at the back. Fucking, she's put a gigantic plaster on his foot. Like,
good God.
And then you got the praying mantis that's just like, at the back. His name's Manny. He's very old.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, okay. And apparently his wife is a moth. His wife's a moth.
Why not at this point?
And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on here? And I'm like...
See, I'm just thinking now. Didn't A Bug's Life do you have a lawsuit when Ants came out? 'Cause I'm pretty sure that came out a year later.
Yeah. Because it's
In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it Shrek made in response to that because like they like DreamWorks were annoyed at Disney for doing that?
Oh god. They may have done actually, because I remember they make fun of. Don't they make fun of Disney and Shrek? I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole reason, like the story behind that is because like the reason why Shrek was kind of like made that way, the way it was. I mean, it's based off a book, but the reason why it was made the way it was because like I think it was Heisenberg, not Heisenberg. It was someone.
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Katzenberg.
He worked at Pixar, didn't he?
He
was ahead of Disney.
He worked for Disney, and he got annoyed at Disney. Like, he fucking hated them.
So he went and made Shrek, which is a fuck you to Disney.
Well, yeah, because Duloc is meant to be Disneyland.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, like it's it's Duloc is the one, like that little song they have. It's meant to be it's a small world after all.
Oh, that's true. Actually.
And Farquaad is meant to be like I think it was meant to be the current head of Disney at the time. Like it's meant to sound like fuckwad. Like, basically, that's what that was the whole joke. I'm not making this up. Like it was meant to like that's why he's called that, because it sounds like fuckwad.
Nice.
There is another thing that I actually like from The Bug's Life, and I couldn't stop pissing myself laughing.
Is it related to Lord Fuckwad?
I mean, I don't know. Could be.
You know, I just realised if we watch Shrek ever again, we're not going to be able to call him by his real name.
No.
Do you think he's compensating for something?
Right. So in The Bug's Life, there is a scene.
Oh man.
And they go to this can, and it's a bar. Right, so there's a lot of jokes in this bit, and I couldn't stop laughing because there was one snail or slug got kind of tormented. He was just like, "Oh, I'll have this kind of meal." Like I think it was poop.
Of course.
And then she's like, "Oh, here you go." And then he's like, "Ah! I've asked for no salt."
Yeah, I remember that, and his like skin just ripples. Like it's.
Wait.
Got rabies.
Wait. So he's happy to have a bowl of crap, but there's no salt.
It's because when you put salt on a slug, it actually kills it.
Oh, is he a slug? Okay.
Yeah, he's a slug.
Yeah, he was a slug. Yeah,
but, like,
I remember this.
Honestly, him just overreacting to having a play of shit and just having salt on it.
No, this is funny.
Oh, you surfing shit!
It gets even more funny because like the waitress is like, "Hey," she's like, the waitress is like, "Hey, who ordered the poo-poo platter?" And you got all these flies like swarming into the food.
Oh, they do that. Well, flies do that.
But this is the funny one. There's a mosquito there, right? And he asks for a drink.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, give me a blood. O negative."
Of course.
So it's like a drop of blood, and when he
Nice.
drinks it, he actually expands and collapses.
So is it like alcohol then?
Yeah, so he got pussy.
Yeah, because he looks drunk after. He's like, ugh.
Oh. But yeah, I think that's how like Flint kind of meets the circus clowns, is that he finds them in that bar.
Well, where else are you going to find circus clowns?
It's because they got fired because like
here.
they kind of got fired because they set their boss on fire.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember that. And he looked really crispy when he was burnt as well. It was really funny.
I think it's just because he's a flea. And then
Yeah.
I think we all know it's that iconic
Circus
line
flea.
where the fly goes into the light.
I saw that on Lion King 2 on VHS. There's a trailer for that, and that's the first quote that comes up before they play Baba O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And that is... I know a lot of kids that kept rewinding that because of how memorable that line is, even back then.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that same trailer park that the fly gets zapped in, that's in Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they said in the audio commentary they used the same character models. From that.
Yeah.
That's clever recycling, I'd say.
Right. So speaking of Monsters Inc.
So, here's a take. I don't think it's a hot take, but it's a take. I think the best duo in any Pixar movie is Sully and Mike, like as a duo.
Better than Buzz and Woody.
Yeah, because I love Buzz and Woody, but they're not always on screen together for a long time. Even say like Toy Story 4, like there's some like Buzz is pretty absent for like some of it.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best here to keep my.
I know.
My bitterness
I
to
know.
a
But
minimum.
you gotta keep you gotta just keep it in for a wee bit longer.
Yeah. I don't plan on ragging on Toy Story 4, so I'm trying to keep it. We're focusing on the things we like.
Yeah. But with Mike and Sully, they're like for most of the movie, their chemistry is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's you do get the impression these two have been together like through thick and thin, and they're just like buddies who kind of like just rough it out and stuff like that. It's just a good dynamic.
See, I've heard that when it comes to voice acting, they normally have the voice actors record separately. But I think from what I've heard, they got John Goodman and Billy Crystal to actually record together, so they can pass things back and forth between each other and make it more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are really good. I've also heard that trying to animate Sully was a nightmare because of all that fur.
Oh yeah, I mean that for the time looks really impressive. I mean, I even know like because I know Billy Crystal was originally going to be the voice of Buzz, and he regretted so hard turning it down, and then that's why he got the role for Mike.
To be fair, I don't think I could hear him as Buzz. You need a deep voice person with a lot of authority.
Well, Buzz was originally going to be a smaller character.
That's
going to be
true.
quite.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah, like you can even hear a voice demo where it sounds like kind of Billy Crystal doing it. But yeah, it's just funny to think about. Like I like the bit in Monsters Inc. where like he gets his hands jammed, like when like what was it, Roz is just
This
like,
office is now closed.
Yes, office is now closed. Yeah. And the bit where he gets his hand bitten as well by that kid. Mike Wazowski.
People just like picking on Mike.
It's even more funny because it's like even in like the TV show they continue with his joke with the sister as well.
What do we think of Monsters at Work?
It was okay. I didn't watch all of it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I think the first thing I liked is that they redid the theme music in a cappella.
Yeah, I like that.
I loved that.
I thought that was good. That was cute.
I mean, obviously, Mike and Sully are obviously no longer the main focus. So
yeah, my main issue with Monsters at Work is that it doesn't really feel. I don't know. The new monsters that they have there don't really do it for me.
That's fair.
Some of them are just kind of annoying, to be honest.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, but nothing's going to beat the original Monsters Inc. Nothing's going to beat that. And I don't.
Nah.
And I don't even think you don't even need to watch the TV show because one thing I liked is how in the last episode they tied it into the epilogue of Monsters Inc. But it still doesn't work because you don't really see them in that scene in the movie.
Exactly. So yeah,
It's a thing.
you know, this is going on a bit of a tangent, but
Tangents are what we do
Hearts.
best.
Kingdom Hearts 3 has Monstropolis as a world.
Nice.
And it takes place straight after the movie. Like it's like Boo's there as well. Actually, it's implied that like Sully took her for the door at the end. So like that's actually more of a continuation than Monsters at Work, kind of. But
didn't you show us something that involved? I think it was in Kingdom Hearts where Sully throws someone through a door.
Oh yes, I think Vanitas was the name of the character. So he's just annoying. He's like he's one of like the bosses you fight in that game, and you think you're about to fight him again, but Sully, like this character who can bite over Keyblade and stuff. Sully goes behind him, scares him to the point where he drops his weapon, and then throws him through a door, and then throws that door for another door, throws that door for another door, and then they shred the door. It's one of the best scenes in that game.
Now, here's the thought. He's the CEO of Monsters Inc. Surely that shit's frowned upon.
I mean, yeah, but so is because Vanitas' plan was to get like children screaming again. I can't remember the reason why, but he was just like, nah. And then he just scared him, threw him through a door, through that door for another door, through that door for another door. He kept throwing the doors through doors, and then he eventually just shredded the doors.
Now, see, I get that idea. If they were to do a Monsters Inc. sequel, that would be something that would come up. That there's some purists out there who think laughter is a like a sacrilegious way or something to power Monstropolis, and that scaring's the only way to go. The purists out there.
And then Sora comes in. Yeah.
Now, see, actually, I just noticed. I learned something like a couple of weeks ago about Monsters Inc. It was that scene where they're fleeing the restaurant, apparently, because I never noticed this when I grew up watching the movie. The copy I have, they just put like a protective barrier around.
Yeah,
yeah. And then I learned that the actual cut of the movie, they blow the building up.
Yeah.
That is extreme.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty badass.
Oh. I think
it gets rid of the evidence, I guess.
Yeah, it does work. Just burn everything. I mean, I get why they changed it because of what happened with 9/11, but
yeah.
To be fair, if you grew up watching the movie that really young, you would never notice there was an alternate cut there because they covered it up really well.
Yeah, they did, because it's one of those like what do you call it, Mandela effects, where you think like, because I remember because I remember when I went back and watched it recently, I went, wait a minute, didn't that blow up originally? I don't remember there being a force field.
Yeah, yeah, that's the Mandela effect, where you think you remember something, but it's just faulty memory.
Yeah, but like then I found out like the original cut. Oh yeah, it does blow up. Like, yeah.
Right. What was next after Monsters Inc? Was it Finding Nemo?
Finding Nemo was good.
Yeah,
I
remember seeing that in theaters. That was amazing.
I was obsessed with that movie as a kid.
To be fair, it's a good movie.
I loved. Yeah, at the time I was kind of just obsessed with the underwater, like just.
It looked amazing.
I liked Nemo as well.
Now, actually, I'll say this about Finding Nemo. That has the best Pixar DVD ever. Because it has the screensavers you can have, where you can take away the menu.
Oh, yeah.
And then the DVD introductions is amazing. You have Andrew Stanton and Leon Critch and say, we're at Pixar. No, really, we're at Pixar. They drag John Lasseter in and say, see, this is John Lasseter. We're at Pixar.
See,
and then they explain how the 2-disc DVDs work. And then when they come back on screen, you see John Lasseter in the background waving.
No.
Oh dear. See, had that been nowadays, they would have been dragging him out instead of dragging him in.
Now, speaking of Finding Nemo, I actually saw this thing on YouTube, and I think they were celebrating Finding Nemo, and
that movie's almost 20 years old now.
So what they did was they brought in a lot of people that were fans of it, and then they can actually ask questions to the characters, not the actual actors, the characters. Like, there was some guy, he says, oh, I have a question for Crush the turtle. So Crush comes in on the screen, and he's like, hi, bro, what you doing? He's like, oh, my name's Jeff. He's like, Jeff, how you doing, Jeff?
So what did they? So did they have Andrew Stanton in a mic booth behind the camera or something?
They must have.
Rosa, you have to forgive me. Rosa, sorry, you have to forgive me. I've been binge watching Breaking Bad.
Oh God.
Recently, so all I could hear when you were doing that impression, all I could hear was Jesse, just like, hey, how you doing, Mr. White, bitch?
Well, dude, let's go cook some fucking meth.
Let's cook some meth, bitch.
Did you know that? Did you know that meth is 10 times more potent if cooked underwater?
Now, this is the funny thing, though. This is funny, right? So, the guy asks, "Oh, what is your favorite food that you like to eat, Crush?" He's like, "Oh, I like seaweed. I like to how it grows on my back, and I like how it makes me happy." And I'm like, "Oh, it makes him happy." And then he was just like, Crush was like, "So, Jeff, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite food?" The guy turned around and said, "Oh, I like turtles."
Dark.
And then Crush was like,
"Holy shit."
And then he actually swims off stage, and he's just like,
"Fuck this."
And then he's like, "Dude, what the security thing, is Jeff gone?" He's just like, "No."
See, now a funny thing about Crush, and I heard this by watching the audio commentary. That's another thing about Finding Nemo. It has the best audio commentary ever.
Yeah.
Because they talk about how things were made, like the animating, getting the voice actors, the East Australian current and that, and they actually cut to clips based on that. So that was really good. And then I learned that in one of the segments that Andrew Stanton wasn't actually meant to be the voice of Crush. He was only a temp voice. But then it turns out they couldn't get anyone as good, anyone who could, bring out the personality that he was after. So they thought, you know what, fuck it, you can be the voice.
Yeah, might as well.
I've heard the original shark voices. They're really derpy.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was another joke that I think we'll probably miss it. The kids will probably miss. Sharks Anonymous.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that until years later.
Yeah, it's maybe like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Denial.
Oh, but Finding Nemo was amazing. What did we think of what about Finding Dory? What did we think of that?
I actually liked to see Dory as a child.
I actually enjoyed that film too.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I would say it's debatable whether or not it was better, but nothing beats the. It's not good. It's going to be hard to beat the original, but I'd say it's on par. I think.
I'm a bit mixed on it, like because I didn't enjoy it as much the second time as I did the first time, but I need to go back and watch it.
I mean, the first one's it's like comparing Back to the Future 1 and its sequels. You have to have them both, but the first one's the iconic one.
Yeah.
See, the weird thing is, I always knew that if they made a sequel, it would have to focus on a character like Dory, because they've already found Nemo. What else can they do?
Nemo doing the Princess Peach treatment.
Oh God. There's another Mario reference. Baltimore City is just made for Mario and Sonic.
At least I didn't bring it up this time.
No, it was Alex.
Yeah.
Right, so I think next on the list was Cars. Underrated movie. I don't care what people say.
Yeah, it's a fine movie. I don't think it's bad.
The original, anyway.
People say it's bad. I don't think it's bad.
To be fair, I feel like when it comes to rewatching... Oh, no, wait, I go further. I was going to say when it comes to rewatching Pixar, my rewatch range goes from Toy Story to Cars, but I think I can stretch it out to Ratatouille, actually.
Ratatouille is a brilliant movie.
I've been thinking about watching Ratatouille.
Now, here's the issue with Cars. If you watch a movie called Doc Hollywood, you'll know Pixar basically stole the plot from that. Oof. But it's still a good movie on its own.
What?
I would say Cars did not need sequels.
No, they definitely didn't. They did it for toys purely.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of those things where I think Disney were just like, all right, read merch. Yeah.
And actually that makes sense because I think wasn't Cars the first to get its own TV show with Cars Toons?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I think that was out before Toy Story Toons.
Yeah,
it would have been actually because they started out after Toy Story 3.
Yeah. And I was not a huge fan of like a lot of the other car stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see the point. And then they came out with Planes, I think, didn't they?
Yeah.
But did Pixar do that, or was that Disney?
It was Pixar.
That was Disney.
Oh.
That was Disney.
I never watched it.
No, I don't think anyone did.
I heard it got shit reviews, and I'm like, nah, it's fine.
I just couldn't be arsed at that point.
Now, Cars 2.
Way
too edgy.
I saw that in the cinema. It's pretty shit. Not gonna lie.
It's very edgy. Even when the trailer came in, I'm thinking they could not. This is not suitable for kids.
Well, it's just stupid. Stupid spy.
And actually,
shit.
here's the thing. And you were talking about making merchandise. The movie focuses on Mater, and he was he was probably the most quotable person in the first movie. So
he's Larry the Cable Truck guy. Get it done.
Oh God.
Take your swing.
I think Cars is the only movie from the Cars series that I've watched.
Yeah, you're missing. I don't even think it's referenced in Cars 3.
Nope.
So you don't even need to watch it. Cars 3 I thought was alright.
Never saw it.
You don't need to see it, but I think it was alright.
I actually think it's the only Pixar movie I've not seen.
Well, Cars 3.
Yeah.
It's better than Cars 2, I can confirm that. But
I mean, I'd hope so.
It's not saying much.
Yeah. What's your least favorite Pixar movie?
Oh God, here we go. All right.
I think I know what the answer is.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this simple. So I've got something planned for before we move on to something other than Pixar. I rewatched the Toy Story 4. This is my third time watching it. Before when I watched it the second time, because I remember we watched it the first time. We made it 20 minutes into the movie where Woody and Forky are walking down the road and he's telling them about Andy. And then I think I turned to Rosa and said, I don't think I like this movie. And you were like, I don't either, weren't you? Mm-hmm. And then I rewatched it again. I got to about the same spot and I'm like, fuck this. And I felt bad for not liking it. So a couple of weeks ago, I went back to rewatch it a third time. Now I don't feel guilty. I know why I hate it.
how far did you get this? Did you watch the whole thing?
I made it through the entire way. I was chatting with Dean during the entire thing, and by the time we got to like the last half hour, I'm like, right, fuck this movie and everything to do with it. I realized the issues now. The jokes are cringeworthy, and the dialogue is awful. The characters are butchered, and the plot did not need to exist.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I just did not like that buzz.
I fucking hate that inner voice thing.
Level of intent.
Yeah, that was a bit stupid. Even as someone who liked the movie, I thought that was kind of dumb.
Oh, God. See, honestly, I maintain Toy Story 3 ended on a good note. Andy grows up, he leaves the toys with Molly, and they restart the cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, see, and here's the issue. People will probably say, like, but what about Bo Peep? We need to know about her story. But you need to think, nothing exists in a movie until they write it in.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not gonna. Even as someone who kind of likes Toy Story 4, I'm not even gonna say it was a super necessary sequel.
And actually, I've heard that even people who like the movie say it's the worst of the four.
Yeah, even to me, I think it's probably like not as strong as the other. It definitely wasn't as impactful as the other ones. I don't think. Like they definitely had more going on in them.
Oh man. But I'll say this: if they make a Toy Story 5, I'll see it on day one.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Toy Story. You can't like not watch a Toy Story movie.
Actually, I had this idea for Toy Story 5, and this would be cool. If they introduce another Woody, instead of getting Tom Hanks to do it, you get his brother Jim Hanks.
That'd be interesting.
Because Jim Hanks did the toys, he does the video games, he does the TV he did Woody in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and he's really good as Woody.
He did Robot Chicken as well, I believe.
Basically anything that's not the movies.
Yeah. Oh, and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, basically anything that's not the movies. Cause I remember this. Was it Graham Norton? He had Tom Hanks on, and he showed him the dolls, and he said he pulled the string and he gave a quote, and he says, "Is that really your voice?" And Tom's like, "No, it's my brother Jim."
Damn.
Yeah, because he's a stand-in for Tom in most things that are. I think it's basically anything they can't afford Tom for.
Tim. Yeah, no, I could see why. I'm sure, like, he gets paid pretty well, to be fair.
But Jim is great. So I think if they brought another Woody in, get Jim to do it.
Yeah, Jim will fix it. Sorry, that's a really bad reference.
Oh man, right. Toy Story 4. I've got my bitterness out of Toy Story 4.
So you want to know what my least favorite Pixar movie is?
Yes.
I don't think it's the worst Pixar movie, but I could tell you what my least favorite one is, and you might be surprised.
Good Dinosaur.
No, I actually kind of like Good Dinosaur. Take a wild guess.
Brave.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Was it Brave?
It's Brave.
What?
To be fair, it doesn't feel like a Pixar movie. It feels more like DreamWorks.
Or Disney.
My issue with that movie is that the trailer made it look really good.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And they based it in, like, when they were basing it in Scotland, I thought, oh, nice, they're going to actually have some, proper Scottish history behind this, or something of that regard, like just some respect for, like, the culture in Scotland and stuff. And I saw the movie, and it was the most basic, boring movie, and it had the most, like, stereotypical, like, Irish, Scottish, like. And I'm like, okay, fuck this. I really I wanted to leave the cinema when I was watching, because I was just like, this is boring. Like, the stupid, like, Mom, you're a bear, and it's like, fuck, I don't care.
You know the funny thing is that's basically our Rosa and I's response to Secrets of Dumbledore. We just didn't give a shit about anything. And actually, it's my turn for a Sonic reference. So we just say Brave is the Sonic Forces of Pixar movies.
Shut up. No, it's the Brave of Pixar movies.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, it is the forces. Because it felt like I was getting forced out of the cinema.
Oh god. I'll say one more thing about Sonic. I hated those jokes they made, like Sonic forces you to do this, Sonic forces you to do that. That got old really fast.
Sonic forces? Why not Sonic politely asks? Why not Sonic suggests?
Right, Alex, your least favorite Pixar movie. What do you do?
I haven't seen all the Pixar movies, but out of all of them that I've seen, I think the least favorite would have to be Cars.
Which one?
Fair enough.
The original.
The first one, because I haven't watched the other Cars films, but Cars really hasn't given me that much.
Well, if it's any consolation, the sequels are a bit of a step down from Cars.
Yeah, you could say that.
Rosa, your least favorite Pixar?
I think Cars.
Wait,
I think
what?
just Cars in general. I just think it's just not really interesting for me personally.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, there were some bits that that were kind of really inappropriate for me, and I have a really dirty mind.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene with two cars that are female, and you can definitely tell that they're very, very young cars.
Are we talking about the twins?
Oh,
Twins
the
that
headlights.
flash them.
Yeah.
That flash them, basically. And I know it's just like, oh, they're just flashing them, but you can definitely tell that they're kids because they're small.
I don't remember them being small. I thought they were just like... I don't know. Wait. Okay, now I'm questioning, like, so how does a car grow up? Do they get more parts, or do they like do the parts get bigger, or like what happens? Like, do they become a different car when they grow up? Do they become a bigger make of a car?
See, no, actually, I've seen the storyboards for a deleted scene from Cars. I think in a nightmare Lightning has, he gets scrapped and his engine gets put into something else.
So, can cars even become kids?
Yeah, because...
How do cars have kids?
And how did those cars construct those buildings?
Actually, you know what the weird thing is? You see car flies in the opening scenes of Radiator Springs.
Yeah, what the fuck? Wouldn't that be like a fairy car then? Like that'd be like a fairy version of a car instead of a fly, right? Because then, like, if it a tiny if we had a tiny flying human, that's not a fly. That's a fairy.
Oh God. Right then.
You know, I take it back. Fuck cars. That's the worst one.
Cars is awesome.
Like, obviously, you can see Cars like grow up. Like, look at Doc. He has, like, you can definitely tell that he's a little bit different from, like, the pictures of him when he was racing.
Yeah, but how does that happen, though? Like, what happens to... How do they get old? Do they... I don't understand.
I think the way that they get old is that if they're beginning to rust. I think that's
also,
it.
To quote The Simpsons, I know Milhouse... There was a joke about Milhouse making this, like... But, like... Why do the cars have teeth? They don't need to eat.
Yeah, like
Actually, here's a weirder question. Why do they have tongues?
Also, why do wait? Why do they have doors? Who's going to go in them?
And how did they build those buildings?
How they
Yeah, you have to question a lot of
the
things.
thing
about
is,
cars.
like, there's another thing. The animals in Cars, like the fucking cows.
Was there?
Yeah.
Was there a cow in Cars?
Yeah, you know when...
No, but not like an actual cow. Like it was like a tipping
the
tractor.
the
Or something. I
tractor.
can't remember.
They're tractors, but they're meant to be cows. Because they go tractor tipping.
Oh,
That was fun.
it's like the video of that guy snoring. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
And they like, just got going. Oh, like it's him snoring after like not sleeping for a week. Oh.
But you know what's funny? That sounds is on TikTok.
Oh God, is it?
Yeah. It's a popular stuff. Oh.
Right, that's enough of
like-
that's enough of us losing our mind at Cars.
No. Let's keep going. With
God, we're
that.
not done.
I have more to say about that. So like, there's planes, right? There's sentient planes. Does that mean so the cars have to go in the planes?
I can see
They're going
what's
inside.
going.
They're going inside of a sentient thing. That's like if for example, there were small people in my apartment, and like I was like, oh hey small people, I'm just going to open up myself, and I just open my chest up or something, and they have to travel inside there. Like that doesn't make any sense. That's not how it works. I don't understand.
Like Mac as well.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's a plot for Meet Dave.
Like Mac as well, because like Mac always travels with Lightning McQueen, with him inside him.
And
actually, the thing Mayor wanted was riding that chopper.
Yeah. Also, how do cars get pregnant?
Oh God!
It's called
They have
car
a
style.
They have a load in their trunk.
Okay, so if Lightning McQueen was inside of Mac, was he pregnant with Lightning McQueen?
Oh my God! I didn't think we'd be reading so much into cars.
I hate this. I don't want to watch this movie again. I'm going to have too many questions.
and then you rewatch and you're like, this movie's awesome.
Right, you know what's funny about this? This is my fault, because I'm always questioning things. I'm ruining this for people.
Rosa, you fucking ruined this.
Good.
Alright, moving on. Right, what other movies should we talk about?
Why are there sidewalks in cars? Who's going to use... like, I just realised, who's going to walk on them?
The cars if they're getting ready.
Fucking bicycles.
Oh.
Another thing from Cars, the pimp car.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forget what his name is.
Fucking pimp.
Oh man,
it's the worst. Okay.
Right.
Moving on. Inside Out, anyone?
Oh God, no!
that one's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Haven't seen it in a while though.
Yeah, that was good.
It was original, at least.
It actually really showed me why sadness is a very important emotion.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like how the dad in that, his like main person that actually takes control of him is fucking anger.
Don't they calm anger down by putting on a football game?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of dumb, to be honest. I didn't like how the parents were portrayed. But yeah, Inside Out, it alright.
I thought it was good. What about Luca?
Yeah.
What about Luca?
Luca, I actually really liked. Luca's one of my. I don't know if I go far to say it's like one of my favorites now, but it is really good. I really
haven't
enjoyed
seen
Luca. I'd recommend seeing it, Alex. It's a really good watch.
It is.
I mean, to be fair, most Pixar movies are good watches.
I think what I like about it, it's like based on Italy, like the urban myth on Italy.
Yeah, and it's. I think it's the most relaxing Pixar movie to watch. Like it's got a very nice kind of. It's very not serious. I'll say that.
Nice.
And it's just a really feel good film.
Nice. What about Turning Red? Because I remember that movie was a big deal.
Yeah, that was. I think
Yeah.
that was a really good movie.
I like that one as well. I thought that was a pretty fun movie. I know a lot of controversy was around it, and it was just a dumb controversy.
It was complete horseshit, really.
It was. It was.
I think.
I remember you two were telling me to hurry up and see it, and I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. And then I got the story, and see, I'll say this: Pixar is an example of where you don't need a lot of musical numbers to have a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because I think that's what turned me off with Encanto, is that there is way too much music in it.
Yeah, Encanto didn't feel like it had a proper story at some points, which was a bit iffy. Turning Red.
I mean, honestly, the coming of age story, I would say Turning Red did it 10 times better than Encanto.
I think I'm inclined to agree, to be honest. I wasn't a huge fan of Encanto, but Turning Red, I actually had a good time. And the animation in Turning Red was beautiful. Like, I loved it.
I haven't seen Turning Red.
Again.
No, actually, great.
I've seen Onward twice at the cinema. It's not an inspiring film, but it's one of the good but not legendary films.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I quite liked Onward. So I thought it was a pretty good film. Also, Chris Pratt is in that movie.
Of course.
Yeah, so is Tom Holland.
Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Although at this point, another Mario reference, Chris Pratt's in everything.
Yeah. I didn't say anything about Mario. I just brought up Chris Pratt.
You just did?
It had
No, but I mentioned that because Kira mentioned it.
No, actually, here's another question. What do you think is the best looking Pixar movie?
Ooh.
That's an interesting question.
Ooh, that is an interesting question.
I think it would be The Incredibles.
Well, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the second film at cinemas. It's okay, but it's just it's like very parallel to the first.
Now, see, I thought that. I remember I ranked The Incredibles 2 as the second best movie of the year it came out. I think it was behind Ready Player One, and I remember trying to think of what I liked about it, and I just kept saying, "It's good, it's good." And then I watched it again, and I was like, "Right, what do I like about this?" I don't think
My favorite looking Pixar movie.
I think the best one for me is honestly, and I keep thinking this when I go back to it. Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3 is a good.
Yeah, it's that opening scene that's all Andy's imagination, where it's Evil Dr. Porkchop and Death by Monkeys and the Runaway Train. I'd say that is the best looking Pixar movie, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean Lucas. I love Lucas style and Turning Red style. I actually think like they're very like cartoony and over the top, but I love that. Toy Story 4, I actually kind of liked. I liked that style as well because of how detailed it was. And Up is another one. I know I already brought Up a wee bit ago, but like I like how the characters are designed in Up, where like Carl's kind of got the square head, and like Russell's just kind of like this little circle. I kind of just like how they're designed. And it's just the beautiful sky and everything like that. I love that.
No, actually, I saw film theorists talk about how many balloons it would take to actually lift a house up, and they mentioned it was like 3 million balloons, and it would take you about 10 years to inflate them all.
Oh boy, so long, boys. And it just never goes off.
And this is the power of Pixar. Actually, I remember when I saw the trailer to Up, I didn't like the look of it. But then, I think a few months ago, Rosa and I rewatched it, and it's the power of Pixar. I got the plot, and it worked for me. Because he was doing it. No. He was doing it as one last favor to his wife, before his house gets demolished, and he moves into the retirement home. Yeah. So that was a touching story.
It's beautiful, and like the final. I remember when me and a few other friends rewatched it, like I think about a year or two ago, and the final moment. Where you see the house, like, you know, Carl's let go of all of that grief. He's let go of, like, everything. He started a new life. The house, it cuts, like, the ending just cuts to the house, and it landed right on the falls.
Now, and so,
like, it's there.
Now, I would say this, despite that crap that Toy Story 4 was trying to do at the beginning and at the end, I would say Up is the most emotional Pixar movie.
It's definitely up there. It starts off happy, then kind of tragic, and then like by the ending, look, not gonna lie, when it showed like when we rewatched it and it showed the final shot of the house finally on the falls, just there, like as if Ellie was like finally got her wish. Like I actually thought like fuck, am I gonna cry? Like because I was just that's like.
I remember that. I remember I was like that at the end of Toy Story 3 because it had taken 11 years to get this movie made. Toy Story's always had an issue with controversies and production troubles. And and when you see Andy playing with Bonnie at the end, I'm thinking, oh my god, this is beautiful.
It is. Oh, and the bit. Sorry, go back to Up. The bit where he's looking for his pictures of him and Ellie, and then he's got the last note that says, "Now go have your own adventure."
Deep.
It's just too. It's too much. It's too much.
Too much sadness.
It's not even just sad. It's kind of a happy as well because you see him like that's the moment where he's like, "Oh, I need to go save Russell and get that bird back and everything."
That was deep.
It's deep. I love like Pixar. Like that's what I love about Pixar.
Oh,
like yeah, the movies do they can appeal to kids and families.
That's the power of Pixar, really.
But there's always something there that keeps the adults in. And that's why I never look at their movies as for kids because I just think like it's too that doesn't even narrow it down. Like too many people have been hit by these movies for it to just be silly little kids movies.
That's true. I would say the movie that comes close to being for kids is probably Cars.
Yeah. Like some of them are some of them are just genuinely kind of just for kids, but like. Most of them, even the first Cars movie to a degree, like most of them, I think are just anyone can enjoy them.
That's true.
I think the same for Onward.
Yeah, I think most people could enjoy Onward as well, actually, because I think doubly so if you've got like a brother or some kind of sibling.
See, let's just say, even with Toy Story 4, you probably could find something to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I clearly did because I enjoyed the film.
I bet probably by the time those kids who have seen those Pixar films that are like the ones that we thought are mostly just for kids, those kids who have grown up with those films will probably be saying by the time they grow up, those films are underrated.
Yeah, probably. So I am. I'm trying to think of like what films like in Pixar, like, because I don't mind it when they do sequels, but I like it when they do kind of original movies, just because it's always interesting to see
Soul!
what we do.
That's another movie I kind of like.
Yeah, Soul was okay. I wasn't like hugely into Soul, but I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen Soul.
Good stuff. I think we've covered most of them, haven't we?
Yeah. Alex, HorrorCon.
Right, actually, I want to do something before we build up to it, because it is related to horror. So, I think I was watching the original Toy Story a while back, and I think it was the scene where you see Sid mutilating his toys, and I'm thinking, this is like Frankenstein, in a way.
Yeah.
So then I had this joke idea, how similar is Toy Story to Frankenstein? And then it's one of those joke things that's not going to be serious, and then you end up reading way too much into it. And so then I actually started taking notes of what I could see was similar to them. And this is why I rewatched Toy Story 4, because I watched that in the first 4 Frankenstein movies from Universal, and I actually took notes for this. And I've been holding this in for several weeks now. So I noticed,
nice. So
Toy Story 1, you have a character not sure of their place in the world, which will be Buzz at the beginning and then the Frankenstein monster. Both try to do to prove a point with consequences, which would be Buzz failing to fly out the window and the Frankenstein monster drowning a girl in the pond. Clearly of equal seriousness. You have a bad guy who wants to destroy them, which will be Scud the dog and the villagers of Frankenstein. And then you've got someone who teases and tortures another, which would be Sid with his toys and Fritz with the monster. I should ask, have either of you seen the classic Frankenstein movies?
No, sorry.
This means completely nothing to you then, but... then they got...
I mean, I've read about the Frankenstein story at English class, just not watched the classic.
Yeah, I would recommend them. If we do a podcast episode on horror, I'll get more into detail about the movies then. Then there's Toy Story 2 and The Bride of Frankenstein. You got one character who's held hostage, which would be Woody, and Elizabeth, Frankenstein's wife. One who sustains an arm injury, which would be Woody getting his arm ripped and the monster getting shot in the arm. You can tell I went very deep, very in depth with this.
I mean, I will say the comparisons are like, it's weird that there's even like this many comparisons to begin with.
And this is only Toy Story 2.
I am missing my arm!
Are you shrink wrapped? It's just a pop scene, easily repaired.
Is it bad that I can't take the scene with Buzz flying out the window seriously anymore?
What, in the first movie?
Yeah, just because I remember when I was at a Smash tournament and when we were watching like 2 players play, me and my friend Armin were just like, we were singing in the background, "No, it can't be true. I could fly if I wanted to. I would burn the sky." Like we just kept going, like in the middle of this tournament, like we're just singing while these 2 people are playing, like, and then everyone joined in.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then the scene where he like falls down the stairs, it's because I keep seeing edits where people like, it'll be like Buzz jumping somewhere and it would just immediately cut to that, and it's really funny.
Yeah, didn't the YouTube poop do that actually?
Yeah, it did. There was one where it was like, where Buzz tried to get like Woody out of the car when when he's driving off like in Toy Story 2, and then it just cuts to Stinky Pete just punching him off the car. And I think it like cuts to him like falling out the window.
Oh man! Right then, so I'm almost done. So Toy Story 2 and The Bride, they're the most emotional of all three movies because of Jesse's backstory. And
yeah.
it's also they're both regarded as the best in the franchise, which obviously I don't agree with Bride, but we'll get to that probably in October. Toy Story 3 and Son of Frankenstein. Many years have passed, and the characters are no longer held in high regard, which would be the toys for Andy because he's obviously grown up, and the Frankenstein villagers hate Dr. Frankenstein because he was regarded highly in the first two movies. The villagers actually named after him, but then obviously with all the trouble with the monster comes out, and obviously they're like, right, fuck Frankenstein, he's a terrible person. And actually, here's the funny thing: they think he's a terrible person, and he's a like a black mark on the village, but they don't rename the village. Okay, that's done that. There's an old grumpy bad guy who manipulates the main character to obtain power or revenge, which would be Lotso with Buzz, or Igor the blacksmith with the Frankenstein monster.
These comparisons are getting really weird. Like, again, it's weird that like there's so much like compared here.
So yeah, people say that for both franchises it was a perfect trilogy, and then they made a fourth movie. So we have Toy Story 4 and Ghost of Frankenstein. Now I'd like to take note, for most of the comparisons here, I took them from memory. So Toy Story 4 may be a shit movie, but at least you remember it.
Yeah.
So, dropping quality from the past three movies, main characters depart their home to find someone relevant, which will be Woody for Bo Peep, and Igor and Frankenstein for Ludwig Frankenstein, who is Dr. Frankenstein's son. One character's... Oh, God, here we go. One character seeks advice from a foreign entity on what to do in a big situation. So that would be the ghost of Dr. Frankenstein visits Ludwig, and Buzz's inner voice.
Yeah, this is getting kind of scary how like you're actually managing to
and actually it gets weirder. Main characters trade organs in exchange for a reward. So Woody's voice box.
The voice box.
Woody's voice box goes to Gabby in exchange for Forky, and Frankenstein's brain gets taken out and swapped for Igor's brain, and Igor promises the Doctor doing it that they will achieve world domination.
Do you think this was intentional?
I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many connections I was able to find.
That's crazy.
But I've been wanting to talk about this for ages. I didn't think it's a weird thought that Toy Story would be similar to a horror movie from the 1930s.
Yeah, but I mean there is the comparisons.
Yeah, and I figured this would be a great transition. So, Alex, HorrorCon.
Yeah, HorrorCon. It was great.
Right, who did you meet? You met a lot of awesome people.
I mean, I didn't meet so many celebrities there because I was mostly just. I mean, really, I didn't know most of the actors there, apart from you know who. I saw several classic horror movie cosplayers, and some who actually dressed in Resident Evil characters.
Ooh.
Nice.
One was dressed up as Lady Dimitris.
Nice.
And one dressed like Leon from Resident Evil 4. And several guys were dressed up as Umbrella soldiers.
I mean, Resident Evil's popular at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been quite popular.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall.
Rosa was gutted that she couldn't go down to Sheffield, so she asked you for a favour.
A very special favor, which I was very happy to carry out, because I knew she wouldn't want to come when I found out that her favorite actor, Andrew Divoff, was going to be there. Sadly, she just couldn't be there. So
I really do wish I was there, Alex. Like, it not only looked fun just seeing all those costumes, but I saw like all the horror exhibits, like I saw, like, when one of your videos, I saw, like, another gremlin puppet. I was just like, hey, I've got a stripe! But, like, I just could not believe you actually went ahead and done it, because, Alex, I felt really bad for not only putting you in that position where it sounded like you were getting tortured by him, but
You
No,
sounded
not at all.
really nervous around
you
him.
did, and I thought he would, because I know he looks intimidating, but I was just like, oh god, he feels like, I feel like he's getting stared down. I felt bad for you, Alex.
No, it's not because I was being stared down. It was just because I was just a bit nervous.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I was just thinking of the words to say,
it right.
and I was also just hoping that we weren't, asking him too many favors.
No,
Andrew is such a good sport. He was such a good sport. He was a very nice guy.
I swear, because it's like with Rosa's response to that birthday message. You had no idea about that, and that was amazing. Your reaction to that.
I think, honestly, Alex is actually beating your birthday gift.
That's fair.
I think...
I really wish you caught her reaction.
I wish I
Kieran.
did. Yeah. She saw the videos of him signing and reading the letter. She loved that.
I really did. I couldn't stop feeling the need to cry. Just seeing all the videos, and answering your question that you also asked. I think what it was is that throughout my life, Andrew's always been a role model to me. He would actually give me the strength for his movies to actually try and, like, just put things out, just blur out reality.
He was your guide, basically.
He was like a guide to me, and it also felt like, I know this is gonna sound weird, like a father figure a little bit, because in his movies, I've seen all of the movies he's in. I've seen Lost. Well, that's not a movie, but it's a TV show.
You remember that movie Lost?
I've seen Toy Soldiers, like, actually recommended. I actually like that. I like Graveyard Shift. I like another 48 Hours he was in. I basically, I've seen all of it, and he was the one that kind of taught me from right and wrong. And when I was actually quite young, I actually wanted to be an actress. I actually wanted to be in horror movies myself. So it was kind of like he sort of taught me how to do it, in some ways. But during the exams, he also helped me with different, like, things. So by then I was only 13 years old, and I actually sent him fan mail letter years and years ago, and he actually replied with an autograph, and he actually was proud to hear that I was actually wanting to be an actress and take under horror, because that's why I love horror in the first place, because he got me into horror.
He's also an artist, so
yeah.
So yeah, you look up to him basically.
Yeah, and like he was doing like the monastery thing, like in Kieran's video, and then I was just like, oh wow, like he's just really talented at different things, because I think he owns his own beer as well. So I was just, when you said that he was there, I really wanted to go. I tried to ask Gordon, Kieran's dad, if he could take me down.
He was busy that week.
He was not only busy, and it was just like at the point in my life where not only my disabilities have actually physically got me down, kind of just stopping me from doing something I enjoy.
So yes, Alex.
So I am so glad that you did this, Alex, and
We love you.
Yeah, we love both of yous, and I do think that you've beaten Kieran. You've beaten Kieran. Kieran, I know Kieran made me cry, but Alex, you made me cry twice.
I'm not trying hard enough. I need to make you cry.
You literally made me cry twice. I was just like, oh. And every time I see that video, I cry again.
Yay.
And not only because you were nervous, but only you had that enough encouragement to go to a stranger and say, hi, this weirdo's like... she totally likes your stuff.
I'm her brother figure.
I'm her brother figure, but he was just like, I actually thought it was intimidating you because he just looked. It was weird as well because
it's all part of the act.
It was weird because like Kieran, the time when I saw your video, he had a fucking mustache and all that. He had like a square mustache kind of thing.
He shaved just for
and
this.
then when he shaved, it was just like, what the fuck? It was just weird, but I showed my carers the videos, and they actually said that you have a good heart and that it was brave of you to do that.
You're fabulous.
But speaking of like HorrorCon and Comic-Con, have you guys read the news? What they're doing in October?
No, what's up?
They got Ewan McGregor to come in Comic-Con this year in October.
Oh, cool.
It'll be to promote Kenobi, probably.
Well, I never thought they'd actually get someone so famous.
You just.
Usually there'll be like people that are actually famous. Usually be
They're actually famous.
Start like further up from us because we had to go to Aberdeen and we met fucking Stephen Ogg and.
So you say Stephen Ogg's not famous?
I mean, he is.
One of my favorite characters. One of my favorite bits from him was when he Okay, so yeah, one of my favorite parts from not even from the game, but I remember when he was getting interviewed and someone told him to go quote like Trevor, like just told him to go fuck.
Yeah,
it.
we've
Like,
seen
tell the guy on the camera to go fuck himself. So the voice actor just walked up to the guy and just straight up to the camera with his mouth just wide open at the lens, just go fuck yourself.
Now,
and just walked away.
now the funny thing is, I actually managed to get a Q&A from Trevor, and he apparently after that he actually felt guilty, like he couldn't sleep for a few months because of that.
Oh,
I'm like, oh no, and he was just like,
I mean, the guy did ask for it.
the guy, he was
Yeah.
like, even though the guy did ask for it, he was just like, I couldn't sleep for months.
He's
I
too
felt
nice.
so fucking guilty. And then another guy was like, can you tell me to go fuck myself again? He's like, no, I don't want to scar you. And apparently the guy stood up and left.
See, now I remember that.
oh.
And I've heard something similar to that. It was Mike Pollock. People were always getting him to say snooping as usual, I see. And I think he got in trouble from Sega for that. So now he refuses to say that.
Like, nope, not saying it.
Oh god.
It's just like,
I mean, I suppose with voice actors you can only say so much before you get in trouble.
Can we... I want to bring this up because I feel like it's like a recent thing. Are we allowed to talk about like Chip and Dale, like that new movie that came out?
Yeah, fuck it, fine.
Cool.
fucking ugly Sonic.
Well, I was just going to mention I actually saw the movie. Like, I've seen it already.
Oh.
How was it?
It was batshit insane. It's one of the weirdest movies I think I've seen in a while.
The funny thing is, one of them got surgery to look CG. I love that they gave an excuse for that.
Yeah. I just think it, look, to bring out the fucking blue elephant in the room. Yeah, Sonic. Like Ugly Sonic was a bit of a surprise. Like, I was watching it with a friend, and I already knew about Ugly Sonic, but my friend didn't know. I just went, "Oh, you're looking at the screen, Michael," and he just went, "What the fuck? That thing's back!"
The worst thing is, I saw the Sonic thing trending on Twitter, and I was like, "Wait, they kept him?"
They fucking kept him, and they gave him an excuse why they kept him. It's just like, yeah.
So did Disney buy the rights to that original design? And
I mean, no one really has the rights to it at this point because no one fucking wanted it. So.
Oh God.
The moment I found out that he was going to be in the film, I was actually excited because I just wanted to see what happened with him after
Don't they
he
make
got,
fun of his teeth?
Yeah,
fired
human
from the
teeth.
set.
Yeah, they do. You know, just like at one point he just starts coughing like, "Ugh, I think my teeth got in the way of my tongue again."
Oh God. I'm not the biggest fan of Chip and Dale, so I haven't decided whether to watch it or not.
I'd recommend it just because of how weird it is.
No, actually, whether or not the movie's good, there is one controversy going on about the movie.
the Sweet Pete thing, the Peter Pan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's kind of in poor taste, if that is intentional.
Before you guys go on, I'm gonna call it a night now.
Should we leave it there then?
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
This is fun.